Welcome back, everyone, to Limbus Company. I am me. I'm joined by my good friend Hunter. Yes, the mic cut out. And we are gonna do the new draws and then do stories. And this is a reading stream.
Yep. Oops, all reading.
Oops, all reading.
I'm just gonna get the ID right here, just like that.
Just like this.
Because it's fake out. It's just that easy.
Just that easy. Don't worry, we still have the temple. I have yeah. Is it right here? Right there? Ba-bam!
It's possible? No.
Wait. There's 3 chances. No. Alright, now this is where I get it. We're gonna have a repeat. We're gonna have a repeat of last time where I get the ID, the banner on the wrong banner.
Of course.
Yes. No. Well, you can't have insane luck every time. Oh, I don't. I don't super care. Oh,
good heavens. I keep doing this thing where I raise my leg and I rip my headphones out of their socket. There we go.
This looks like a very high show, not high show. Like, it's not, obviously, it very much looks like one.
I believe in the passives, there's like... Hold on. Yeah, when this unit activates an unopposed attack due to the Lord of Hongyuan Hongloo's the Heisho Lord passive, treat this unit as if it has Heisho Packer's Jia family trait keywords.
I see. The enemy attack, or if the attack style at HP is less than 20% attack. After that attack, Drifting Blade of Hong Wander. The names. Interest. Once per encounter. Okay, that's not. Neat. Let's see, I need 200.
이 날개의 망치라는 놈들은 지켜야 할 사람을 지키지 못한 나는 뭘 배면 좋지? 내
Ooh,
놈은
spider
날
Heisho.
본다. 그래, 그리 기대하진 않았다.
I think the spider's just a Ryoshu classic. I don't think it's a Heisho thing.
Maybe. Okay, who here haven't we actually done?
Let's start with the Kanto 7 IDs, the Blood Fiend squad.
The Blood Fiends.
We can do them in order, which I think is Otis first. It should tell you if you go into the story thing on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Otis, Gregor, Rodian, then Don Quixote. Alright, gotta lock in. The child is already so busy so early in the morning. Browsing through several layers of fabric, cutting them into shapes, and sewing them in various elaborate patterns, with a needle as thick as her fingers. And after the busyness passes, she stands in one spot and stares intently at something. This seems slightly off balance. The child quickly sewed together a whole party dress and placed it on a mannequin. It looked downright dazzling from a glance, but perhaps there was something the child found unsatisfying. On a block again. A high-pitched click-clack of heels cuts into the quiet, heavy atmosphere of the tailor's room. And a large shadow comes up to the child before coming to a stop. Must you keep that parasol unfurled indoors as well? It blurs the colors on my artwork. Didn't you know? Sunlight is not the only enemy of maintaining smooth skin. Your harsh lighting doesn't help.
Yes.
The other child was garbed in a garish purple dress and carried a large parasol with her. She replies, but doesn't look terribly interested. She did not raise her head even once from her nails to look at the child, clearly uninterested in anything else that wasn't her. I won't deny that. So, what brings you to the tailor's room? Isn't the parade beginning soon? Well, that's exactly why I'm here. Okay, which still does not answer my question. You're gonna start moping and getting mad if I tell you I've been having some problems with the dress you made. Problems? The child, with her nails painted purple as well, lets out a small sigh. She could already see how the rest of this conversation was going to go. But she could hardly bring herself to attend the parade in an imperfect costume, so unfit for the occasion.
I should have done Marceau first.
He's separate.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, she was left without a choice. She had to visit the tailor's room. That is simply impossible! I measure and review every single thread that passes through my hands, not to mention that your costume was the one I put my utmost. It's gotten loose down here. I lost weight. Not your fault, okay? What? The child hurriedly approached her with a tape measure. It's true? Have you been skipping your meals? If by meals you're referring to the hemo bars that taste like bricks, then no, of course not. Well, on the brighter side, this may be a chance to give it a stylistic lift to that dress. But I worry that your beautiful face may grow sunken. Then I'll leave that up for you to deal with. It's your job to make me look cute, after all. How about a beautiful mask for me? I suppose I can do that. I agree that it's getting increasingly difficult to subsist on hemo bars, given our recent meal. The child thinks back to the banquet, muttering to herself. The child and her family hadn't had a real meal like that in a long, long time. They had to convince a human, a guest here at La Mancha Land. Long did I assume that we were cursed to look hideous without masks. It seems that I was wrong. The sheer flavor was one thing, but I could hardly believe how we managed to go so long without a proper meal. It certainly was a pleasant banquet. I see that your tailor's scissors have grown as well, thanks to the blood. That's why these scissors work so well now. For a moment, the pair seemed to be reminiscing a certain shared memory together, before gritting their teeth. I don't suppose Father will be returning anytime soon. From that adventure for the helm. Well, his powers are unparalleled and ineffable. Let's try not to make any hasty guesses. Still, I guess the whole point in his eyes was that he wanted to go on an adventure like humans do, without his powers as a blood fiend, I suppose. At least for now, yes. Yeah, and once he returns, you know what to do, right? Heavy silence fell upon them, but they both read in the eyes of one another a certain agreement. A certain agreement to enact a plan. A plan so terrifying that they couldn't even bring themselves to speak of it.
As well, I'd go into that when I'm used to, like, the Season 8 ones, where it's like, yeah!
The Season 8 ones where it's like, what?
Where it's just, like, fucking 3 times longer.
Some are longer, some are shorter.
Heathcliff.
Some of the Season 8 ones trend long, though, for sure. Resorting to whipping yourself again? You certainly are impatient. Huh? Haven't I asked you to knock first? Have you given a thought about the I also recall asking you not to bring that subject before me again. Still unwilling to participate in the plan? I refuse to consult you on your plan. Isn't it clear to you that Father no longer cares about us? Your plan, it's filial impiety. You mustn't. The child's eyes begin to tremble uncontrollably from the instinctive revulsion and fear at the thought of it. The unbreakable bond formed from the blood. Most blood fiends cannot defy, let alone break, that bond. But within the child's heart was an even more severe desire growing. And upon noticing it, the child with the scissors did not waste a moment to capitalize on it. No, We must. How many more years do you think our family has? 5 years? 10? Even less. Another year like this and we'll all go insane. You know this better than anyone. Day after day you sit here and listen to their desperation. We can come up with ideas for better rides, better attractions, something to draw more people in here, something to get them willing to pay more blood packs for... That is irrelevant! She raised her voice, frustrated at the child's obstinacy. She slammed her scissors on the marble floor, and the confessional echoed with the discomforting noise of metal. Has Lamantuland ever been short of guests? It's always teeming with guests paying hundreds upon hundreds of blood packs, but it's not enough. It's just not enough for everyone in the family. This stagnant, unmoving blood will never be enough to sate us all. Never! No matter how much we drink. But it was you who helped Father create hemobars, wasn't it? To address that exact problem. Hemobars, created by combining and compressing the blood of animals with that of humans. A necessary evil, that's all it was. To have enough to feed our family. Hemobars were our only option. Yeah, it was flavorless, but unlike blood packs that quickly lost their freshness, hemobars were a great invention that could feed the whole family. Sure, it alleviated the hunger and the thirst, for a moment. But did any of us feel even a glimpse of happiness during the entire time we filled ourselves with it? This is nothing more than a slow, slow death. I believe we have only months before the family loses control over their craving for the blood of our guests anyway. If I could give them my blood instead, I would have. A meaningless ideation. The scissors-wielding child stared uninterestedly at the stream of blood pouring from the child's back. She would not have been able to hold herself back had it been human blood, but... The blood of our kindred is lesser than the blood of animals. It's just meaningless, diseased blood that does nothing to fill our desires. Come to your senses, priest. It was always an impossible dream. The only way for us blood fiends to be happy is to drink the blood directly from human flesh. The father of these children is aware of that truth.
I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong because I don't fully understand how like, the whole blood thing works. I feel like if you're already draining them for the blood packs or whatever, like, you could have worked something out.
I think a part of the point is that the blood is so conceptually important to the blood fiends that the fact that they aren't getting it via feasting means that kind of emotional need isn't being sated.
Yeah, but I'm saying
they are cursed predators, and so the fact that they aren't taking it directly from the source in a show of dominance diminishes it.
I'm saying maybe not the show of dominance part. Like you could have, they could have. I feel like worked something out to get it. Directly.
Well, yeah, they talked about how they had that one guy volunteer to be part of a banquet,
and they loved it.
And they loved it, but they can't do that for the park full of hundreds of blood fiends.
I feel like
there's just not enough blood.
I feel like
the problem isn't just the method, but also the volume.
I feel like they could have worked something out. I feel like if your issue is the volume, killing everyone is a short-term solution.
But the father, who sought the dream of coexistence, could not permit them to directly covet human blood. There was one incontestable reason he forbade the family their happiness.
Where, why, and how? Alternate reality, where shit is bad for vampires. I guess not alternate, real reality, but different reality where it's also bad.
Alternate but similar reality where shit remains fucked for vampires.
Remains fucked for vampires.
Except they do not have a good time.
Except this vampire is someone we know and we have, like, empathy for. Because we've gone through, like, 100 hours with this guy.
Anyone who's had their blood drained directly by a blood fiend is bound to eventually turn into a blood bag, no matter how long it takes.
Okay. That answers that. Okay.
Yeah. And that would mean the end of coexistence. And that is why this became an unforgivable sin in the eyes of the father. Are you not afraid of Father's fury, Otis? I am. Deathly so. Which is why we are coming up with a strategy. Besides, it's not like we seek his death, just until our father comes to his senses. How will you even get him to don the helm? Perhaps her words, clarifying that they weren't seeking the father's death, came to this child as an exoneration.
Literally, the entirety of the final fight could have been avoided if we just, like, flipped the helm off. Neat!
Not quite.
I know.
The helm's role is just to make it so that the Blood Fiends don't perceive him as their greater. That's all it did, was change their perception. It didn't actually weaken him at all. He just didn't fight back. And for the first time, the child's interest was piqued. Now, are we ready to have a conversation? Do you recall how our father created Rocinante prior to his departure? I do. He used up a significant amount of his own blood to create Rocinante, and after such a long time on the road he must still be deeply fatigued, and that will be our opening to place the helm over his head. As for the second step of our plan, I'll let you in on it as soon as you agree to be a part of it. Even after the gaudily dressed child left, this child cannot help but shudder from the crushing guilt.
The simplicity of the plan is the beauty of it. You see, we just kind of keep stabbing him.
Stab him harder!
We just kind of keep stabbing him until it works.
Well, the reason the staking him part was, I think, after he sealed them in La Mancha land. They staked him, I think, after, or was it during? I can't quite.
I don't remember. It was a while ago.
Yeah, I don't recall the exact, but we'll probably get into it here during one of these. He continued to whip himself again and again. For the family. No. For our father in blood. But this profane thought refused to leave his mind, no matter how much he whipped himself. Every strike of the whip, every scar that formed on his skin, only reminded him of the possibilities this thought granted. The child put down the whip and utters an unthinkable sentence. Even if he would smite us down with his great vengeance, if this'll get him to see this suffering. The child's heart, which had slowly begun to sway after countless consultations with the family, crumbled completely in the face of the justification that this was, after all, for the father. The day of rebellion was here, the child now a part of this plan. Father was to return home after the long days of the adventure. Countless hunters surrounded the now blood-soaked child. He'd been in this situation countless times in the past, but, after years spent in La Mancha land, all of this felt so new to him. Maybe they really could have coexisted even with the hunters, if a day like today did not come to pass. You did not pay La Mancha land a visit once, ever since the Bloodfiend War was over. I see that you've managed to suppress your hatred of our kind. Why was that, I wonder? Were you merely curious? Or was there something else? I guess the answer doesn't matter anymore. New guy, new voice.
Yeah.
There was a doubt in my heart even as we ran toward this stench of blood, this screaming.
Hi, Heathcliff.
No, it's more an Aussie. It's more an Aussie kind of guy, you know. I wondered if La Mancha land had come under siege by a different family that were envious of your success. A foolish thought. A thought that father would have been overjoyed to hear. I admit, we were foolish to hope. The ranks of Bloodfiend hunters will only grow like wild grass on the fields, and when this day becomes history, they'll all learn a lesson from our folly. That you Bloodfiends are evil by nature, that you can never change what you are. With that, neither the child nor the hunters said a word. They both knew that further communication was meaningless. There was only a singular thought in the child's head as he watches the hunters expire. It's not about his sin. It's not about the upcoming punishment. It's joy. It was the child's only thought, his only emotion, as he took in the hunter's blood drenching his body.
Have you been following the files at all that's been happening? Like, it is crazy.
Yes, it's batshit.
It is batshit insane. And, like, the Trump supporters are still defending him.
He's just a silly little guy, man.
He
Just a
just
silly
is.
little guy. We were happy. At first. Father spent his days twaddling about silly things like dreams, but I suppose he had his own charming mirth. But it was a good life, if the worst thing I had to do was placidly indulge his stories. My memories of the years I lived as a human have all but disappeared, but at least this life had to be better than whatever that was. Maybe that's why I agreed to become his kindred. Or maybe I was seduced by the promise that my beauty could be made to last for all eternity. I began to understand why my father, only when I began to create my own kindreds, my children, when they began to grow in number. I understood that Father wanted us to be happy. He wanted to free us from the crippling loneliness, for he was the first to suffer it. Or so I thought. Until some traveler visited our castle and deluded my father with that sickening manipulation that his dream could somehow be realized even in the waking world. Sancho. Father always tried to bring us two closer, as if we were sisters. Perhaps it was fortunate that neither of us was the friendly type. We both liked to put a wall up between us and the rest of the world, so, naturally, we distanced ourselves from each other as well. I had a degree of faith in her, however. Her strength, her abilities, and her more down-to-earth perspective on life that heavily contrasted our father's wild imaginations. Sancho never had children of her own, but she always seemed at least neutral when it came to looking after my kindreds. And it is that odd distance between us that brought this plan to fruition. Though we were both second kindreds, I could let her take care of our family, to look after my children and their kindreds, while I devised this plan. Eventually, our father's sanity was completely broken. He destroyed our castle and built a bizarre amusement park in its place. Rambling a plan that seemed to have come straight out of a madman's dream, that we could coexist with humans. That we must live begging for stagnant blood in packs, when veins, pulsating with hotly flowing blood, walk right past us. That we must subsist on that thing, more flavorless than even pastel paste. That all of his kindreds must live trapped in a fate worse than that of a blood bag, all for the future in which blood fiends and humans may coexist in harmony. His eyes gleamed with the conviction to that dream he could endure even the yearning for blood. That to dream. Yet desire is not something that can be so easily overcome. It has broken my undying loyalty. This hunger coerced me to think of committing the inconceivable crime of filial impiety. No, it may just be that I do not have the strength to pursue the dream as he does. There was a peddler, a merchant of odds and ends, who'd always come to visit us at the amusement park. Our father is tragically naive and innocent. Every time the merchant brought him false relics, he'd get swindled into buying every single one of them. But the peddler didn't just carry counterfeits. Sometimes, Sancho and I would go behind our father's back to threaten the peddler, and we would be presented with an authentic relic the very next day. So, one day, another day of suffering through that hunger, I thought to ask the peddler about this rumored relic. Say, do you know about the legendary helm of Membrino that brings the wearer to equal ground with all of those around them? That little tomb raider could not possibly have imagined what we were planning to do with the artifact. Of course not. Just as we could never gain an understanding of humans, just as we could never be one of them, no matter how long our lives may be, they won't ever understand us. Gregor, that child, he claimed that wasn't true. That humans were really starting to see us in a new light, but I saw it all from the apex upon which I stood. Humans looking up at me in the parade, their faces brilliant with happy smiles. And blood fiends who shuffled among the humans with their eyes lost and wavering with hunger. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter whether humans saw us in a different light or not. What matters is that I and my children are going hungry. Besides, Sancho agreed with me. We couldn't just sit here and watch that human corrupt our father with that silver tongue. Finally, the preparations for the carnival are complete. Now, I leave this endlessly whirling yet stagnant, self-devouring parade, and announce the beginning of a true feast of blood. Oh, it's going to be so beautiful.
Damn.
And now, for the doozy.
The doozy.
You can actually see... Interesting. What are you thinking, Father? What are you doing? Stab him! What are you thinking now, at this precise moment? As the family who once loved you so much impales you, who once loved us in return, with these brutal stakes. Stab him now! Gah! Know that you were the one who wronged us. You abandoned all of us. You abandoned the whole family. What are you thinking, Father? What are the thoughts swirling in your mind as the outpouring of curses and condemnation, stained by both wrath and hatred, strike your ears? Rouse yourself from the dream, O Father. You can see in the it's Don Quixote being stabbed by the lance. But you wouldn't be able to tell that if you hadn't seen Don Quixote in Canto 7. It's interesting. The reply you gave me was silence. Was it your fury against us that had sealed your lips? No, it was not. For you merely cast down your gaze as a staked sinner does out of guilt. Like a felon who has no words left to say in their defense. What happened to us? Where did this all begin? Both are questions with answers in plain sight. The day when a stranger knocked forcefully upon our gates. The day when Father's eyes began to twinkle with interest. The day when, during one family gathering, we collectively agreed that we would help our beloved father achieve his dream as the knight's tales of adventure began to pull him in. Every little change brought on by each new day has shaped and molded the bed of this penultimate moment. You built this insurmountable wall of disconnect between yourself and the rest of us. The responsibility is yours, and yours alone. You abandoned us. I can hear the echoes of Father's jovial laughter all the way from here at the end of this hallway. Next to the Father stood the Knight of the White Moon, having taken my place. I hide behind a pillar, peering at the pair. I recall the words of my father. I recall the words you used to impale my heart like a stake. I am no longer in need of your company. Please divert your care to La Mancha Land and the rest of the family. Look after them. Your language was plain. Not a singular pretense, deception, or intentional embellishments veiled those words. Your words, shared casually over the breakfast table one morning, were as gentle and affectionate as your every other word. So I wish to have faith that Father sent me away because he cared for me. A tale in which blood fiends are no longer bound by their yearning for blood. A tale in which a clement, selfless hero protects all. A tale in which humans and blood fiends coexist, smiles abound, in paradise. A tale in which we must embrace the dream to seek and reclaim our lost tomorrows. He must have sent me away because I clearly did not show an iota of interest in these laughably absurd tales, because he valued my time. Yes, it had to be a decision he made in his love for the family, despite the knight's silver tongue infecting his mind. That was the faith I hoped to instill within myself. Yet, as I peered from behind the pillar as they bantered, I could not perish the thought that I was simply making excuses for him. Little chuckles peppered in between light-hearted chatter, both of them swirling happily inside a little world of their own. Do you truly find the tales regaled by that human that riveting? Father was dreaming a new dream, having discarded the old dream that he imbued in us as he saved us from the gutters. I cannot imagine the euphoria brought upon by your newfound dream, Father. But for me, no, for us, our family, it was nothing more than a culmination of our worst nightmares. How much longer can our sanity endure this exitless nightmare? I see it still, past the darkness of my eyelids, a vision of a past I lived not so long ago. Memories of our own family members who had gone mad from long-suppressed instincts. I remember the day when Father deemed their sin unforgivable, their sin of seeking happiness as blood fiends should, by bringing harm to humans. In my hand that wielded the lance, which was commanded there by Father's orders, lingered a foreign and unfamiliar sensation. My very own thoughts, then, are alien to me. How did I feel as I buried their still living bodies into the earth? How did I feel as I so mercilessly tore through their skulls? I open my eyes and look at my hands, sodden with sweat. I wipe them dry. Then, my gaze focuses on the priest's area, still lit so bright at such a late hour. Our father's dream isn't what sustains our family now. It's the priest's desperate words of consolation in the face of endless pain. The halls still echo with Father and the knight's laughter. Now, more than ever, I feel an intense hatred for that noise. I felt my own feet moving on their own toward the confessional, as though they were possessed. How'd the consultations go?
He's still just whipping himself.
Well, it's no different from the usual. All are at peace, tranquil, as they always are, and all that. You lie. Do you take me for such a fool that I would fail to pick up on what is really happening? Splatters of blood marred his room. His back was rough and torn with fresh wounds. There was a whip on his desk, surrounded by dozens of uneaten hemobars. I knew that something was starting to fester within all of us, but it affected the priest most severely. For he stood alone before the flood, taking the outpouring of pain, suffering, and hatred for the family in our father's stead. Rotting inside more than anyone else. Cancel some of your consultation appointments. But send them to me instead. I will lend my ear to their troubles. You will? At this rate, taking on this responsibility alone will break you before long, before anyone else. His eyes wavered on me with a look of unmistakable distrust. Please do not hesitate to ask me for assistance, should any questions or difficulties arise. But he did not refuse my help. What words must be said to alleviate one's such absence of exchange? I stood there for what felt like an eternity, trying to come up with something to talk about, but there was nothing. When I turned to leave, Gregor called to me in a peculiar tone. That reminds me. I heard through the grapevine that Father was preparing to leave on an adventure. Yes, all on his own, too. Once again, it seems that the human is responsible for this. I heard that this adventure will be a quest for a legendary helm. The sheer idea of it. I can hardly wait. What do you know about that adventure?
Good idea. Indeed, Zavera. How you doing?
The priest is acting overtly secretive. I looked straight into his nervously wandering eyes and asked him in an interrogative tone. We weren't that close, but I knew him well enough to ask him what he really meant there. A plan, you say? I don't know if it is wise for me to share such a thing with you, but yes, Lady Rodion is the one masterminding this plan.
Yeah, right now, we just finished this canto. We're going through all the IDs that we were waiting to do, so we weren't spoiled. Or I wasn't spoiled, because I've just done it all.
I've done it all!
Done it all!
Well, I suppose there is no harm in sharing this with you now. How could I have ever imagined that this despicable plot of filial impiety, so horrible that anyone hearing it would have intensely hated the idea?
My gotcha is too bad. I'm broke. I feel that.
Hey, next season you can shard these guys.
Next season you can shard them.
1 week, plus however long it takes to get the crates. It's all for the happiness of the family.
Just consign yourself to the mere dungeon mine.
Get grindin'. Was shared to me by none other than the priest. My instincts are screaming at me to immediately take this matter to Father. The confessional, it alone a sight of madness manifest, cuts through my heart. When the priest succumbs to madness, which is only a matter of time, another blood fiend will have to sit in that small room, all alone, to shoulder the burden of anxiety from the entire family. It need not be said that the same fate awaits all who shall take his place. And when, one by one, more and more of the family loses their grip on their sanity, should I again be made to bury my own family? My own blood? Will my hands be once again forced to crush their skulls?
I spent too much time on MD. That's how I forgot the story enemy is weak.
Is this the horrid future our father dreamed of? No, it cannot be. Father was changed and twisted by the silver-tongued wiles of the night.
Oh.
Even as the family that had promised to withstand the thirst, that had promised to dream together, crumbles, our irresponsible father still seeks to go on an adventure in such a blithe display of his naivete. This alone is proof enough.
Their health only reaches 1,000.
She conspires a sin of filial impiety, an unthinkable transgression. But I must hear her out first. Lady Rodion is currently in the process of wrapping up the last parade of the day. I knew where to go to put an end to this chaos. To the parade area, where my only sister resides.
Thanks for the follow, Zavera. I'm glad you're enjoying us reading Uptie stories.
Uptie stories!
Uptie stories! I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Oh, your eyes. You already know everything, don't you? Was it the priest who let you in on this? An elaborate parade. Surrounding the procession's path are humans, laughing and clapping delightedly at the parade. Their eyes hold no trace of the fear that we once instilled in them. I only saw polite and innocent affability at worst. Even the hunters, who once hated us enough to the point where they would willingly throw their lives away just to kill a single one of us, now make an exception for us. Our sacrifice was all it took to perpetuate this idyllic reality. Yes, our sacrifice, and only our sacrifice. Father's ridiculously juvenile dream, it's becoming real. They're starting to acknowledge it. You mean the dream that made our every waking moment a nightmare?
I enjoy it while weeping the cruel reality. Oh, yeah. The cruel reality of real life, the cruel reality of what's happening in the game.
The cruel reality of existing in 2025.
Of our Lord and year 2025.
Alas.
Ah!
I guess it is my fault for expecting you to have changed at all. You'd always agree with Father, no matter.
Who? At least I managed to have some ice show team. Hey, who? Man, I feel bad for anyone who comes to Limbus Company looking for like escapism. Just no, the future.
What they don't tell you about the city as a setting is it's just actually South Korea.
It's Christmas. I think any present yet. It's Christmas.
It's Christmas Eve some places in the world currently.
It's some place, yeah.
Do as you will.
Is this another Singapore lad come to my stream? The third Singapore lad?
What meaning is there to happiness if we are all excluded from its blessing? I know the answer now. The happiness our father saw in his ideals is meaningless to us.
Should you gotcha, you little way always. What's the worst that'll happen?
You should save for Walpurgis, actually. You should always save for Walpurgis. Always save for Walpurgis.
But Gamba.
No.
They could get it on the first try. You never know.
Save for Walpurgis.
Hunter's right. One more 10 pull.
Cough. What glory is there in gazing upon the happiness of humans if we stand upon the ground in which our family lies buried, made into corpses by our own hands to free them from their madness? What? I said go ahead. Do it. At my confident reply, an odd light begins to shimmer in my sister's eyes. The eyes that had completely lost any semblance of light. The eyes that had seen too much fatigue to glimmer anymore.
My Walpurgis is good enough for me. Fair enough.
But it's filial impiety. I thought you'd be more opposed to this.
Gotcha till I'm broke, yes! Embrace the dark side. Don't be fucking a smart person like Hunter. Join me in debt.
It is Father who has abandoned us. And that plan comes from none other than you, who had to look after the entire family while our absent father was chasing his hollow dreams. Focus on the plan and leave it to me to take care of the family in the meantime. I thought you were still so disinterested in everything happening before your eyes. Hey, I kinda like the new you. Go to the barber and she will explain everything. That child was the architect of the more intricate parts of the plan, after all. No, actually, I'll go with you. It would be easier for you to have me there to smooth things out, right? Yes. Sancho is in. Lady Sancho will take part in our plan? Very well, Your Grace. This will certainly reduce the risks involved in my strategy. Your involvement in this particular matter certainly was unexpected. Well, she can pretend all she wants about how little she cares about us, but I guess she kept her eyes on the rest of the family in her own way. Indeed. Then perhaps it is possible that your apparent disinterest in that perfect dress I had once crafted for you was but a mask to hide your deep interest in the sartorial arts. That's a light-hearted jest. I merely thought to break the ice, given that you have remained entirely silent since the moment you stepped into this room. Please don't concern yourself with my comments. I will try on your dress next time. For now, I would like you to elaborate on your plan. We plan to place the helm of Mambrino over Father's head. We received this intelligence from that relic peddler who keeps swindling our father. The relic's function is as follows. Whosoever wears the helm shall be viewed as an equal in the eyes of the beholder.
What a weird, power.
Viewed as an equal by the beholder? Does that mean the taboo, a revulsion for hurting a higher kindred, can be nullified? Precisely, Your Grace. Were I to look at an individual wearing the helm, I would perceive them as third kindred, and if Lady Sancho or Lady Rojan were to look at them, they would appear as a second kindred. It is said to have a similar effect on humans as well. A king shall see the helm wearer as a king, and a knight shall see the helm wearer as a knight. The plan was more solid than I had expected, but the risks were still immense. Though Father had expended much of his strength when he created Rocinante, his might remains nigh insurmountable. Even with the crutch provided by the mask, the knowledge that he is still our father will stay the hands of many of our family members. But this is the best chance we've got. For us to be released from the binding saddles of this nightmare, we must drag our father, who gallops onward at the vanguard of this procession, from his steed. That is why we have turned against you. Because in the dark, invisible corners of La Mancha land, we were there, suffering silently as our instinct strangled us. Just as you forsook our happiness, we forsake your ideals. We will seek blood, slaughter every human we see. And the knight who corrupted your mind shall be found and torn limb from limb. Was it your lingering attachment to the dream, that it could still be realized? Or was it the resentment towards us who ruined your dream of coexistence, your retribution for our transgressions? Even as your gaze remains downcast, weighed down by the guilt of abandoning your own family, you raise an arm toward us, as though the dream continues still. All of a sudden, I was struck by a terrible premonition. Our preparations were immaculate, ready for every possibility. But should Father unleash his full might, determined to exterminate his entire family, he will kill us all. Even if we manage to defeat him, as impossible as that sounds, none of us will survive the battle. And that was the best case scenario. Yet why, I wonder? Why did I see from your trembling hands a clear sign of hesitation that could not be disguised? I quickly motioned the family to stop materializing their weapons out of panic. He isn't trying to fight us. This is... A great shadow, more vast than even the darkest clouds, begins to devour the sky over us.
I'm back with good and bad news after going to Gotcha. Oh, do tell.
A wall of blood begins to materialize around La Mancha Land, so it is after he's staked. Is Father sealing La Mancha Land? He's trapping us in here! This is the retribution we deserve. Everyone, let's remain calm. We're going to be okay. I know we're going to be okay. The family panics. My sister gives me an odd look. I push harder on my lance, impaling Father's chest. They and I have committed the sin of filial impiety. But for the family to be confined here in La Mancha Land again for another eternity of suffering. Stop this! If you ever loved us as much as we once loved you.
Got sinking Heathcliff ID and Otis Christmas ego. Nice.
You will do nothing. I beseech you.
I love potential man Heathcliff.
For that is your final responsibility to us as our father. The shadow that had begun to surround the sky slowly withdraws, growing thinner. As if to say that his love for us hasn't changed. Father's arm slowly falls back to his side. The family begins to sob. I can see their tears from the corner of my eyes. From the relief that the plan was a success, from the dawning of the terrifying reality that we are now without a father. Indeed, someone new must lead them from the vanguard. This mass of responsibility is bloody and heavy as it rests ponderously upon my shoulders. Should someone come seeking the whereabouts of our father, give them this answer. That our father, who galloped toward a hollow dream, dragging his family through brutal suffering, eventually met his end in the dirt. And should someone ask you the question, how will you live on? Assert boldly that you will live on as a blood fiend should. Then, while I bear the responsibility and the guilt, go seek the happiness that you lost. It's raining red. Father gasps his final breath, and the red droplets continue to pelt over our heads with no end in sight. Thus marks the end of the dreaming. La Mancha Land is falling apart. For everyone. For you. And me.
Cool, Sancho.
Because this crimson rain falls from the cumulus of broken things. The blood overflows, flooding the land before the earth can claim it.
Do you always have the teardrops there?
The tear of blood, yep.
Okay, and we have to do more.
So, yes, I find it interesting that I guess the premise of the manager of La Mancha Land as a mirror world is one in which Sancho didn't latch on to the stories, and so Don Quixote sent her off to go actually manage the park. And so she firsthand experiences all the suffering of her family and goes, you know what? Fuck that.
Just real quick.
I like it.
Big damage.
This ID, I think, is a mirror dungeon merchant.
That's a good idea. I'm trying to look at your team. I have wasted so much money because it's funny to do roles for content. I have wasted a lot of money because it's funny to do roles for content. However, I have also gotten absurdly lucky.
I cannot claim that same luck, but I have been playing since the launch of the game, so I do have every ID. Sorry, every ID except the most recent Rogia in the standard fare, because I didn't roll on the banner. Because I'm out of boxes.
I'm out of boxes.
I have no boxes.
I played for 2 months. Oh, I have 2 Faust ID. When did we start? At the start of this season.
So, probably around 8 months.
Has it really been that long?
Maybe a slightly less. I don't think you played at the start of the season, because I definitely finished Kanto 8 before you started playing. So, it was probably like maybe 6 or 7 months ago.
That's not 3-star. I only have 2 Faust ID, and that's not 3-star. I got so many Faust. I got so many fucking Faust and Yi Song IDs at like my start. For a very long time, Wuthering Heights Faust carried me.
She punch.
She do kick for 1 billion damage, and it was really funny. Okay, anyway, Merceau.
Merceau.
Mr. Salt.
Merceau. Mr. Salt.
Mr. Salt.
The Mr. Salt? Hold on. Fuck, I have to do like a Merceau voice. Sometimes I dream.
Sometimes I dream about cheese.
I dream of the burning confessional.
No, that's not cheese.
Of the kindred's dismembered bodies and the crumbling rides of the amusement park.
And he does not look good in this picture.
He's withered from lack of blood.
Yeah. Oh, and you ripped off the mask too.
Die, filthy, disgusting beasts! Look, I brought water. You need water to put out the fire, burning your home to the ground, don't you? Too bad you're too scared to go anywhere near your own salvation. Raiders yell at the top of their lungs as they trample our land. We wanted to live too. Do you have even an inkling of the suffering we'd endured day after day while your kind blissfully frolicked across La Mancha land?
He looks handsome, what do you mean?
My family protests, their voices trembling with fear. Some beg for their lives too. Today's the day I finally reduced this damned place to ashes.
Oh yeah, there were the Fire Fists guys, and they died fucking instantly.
Fire Fists are cooler in every other Mirror World that isn't the reality. Because Fire Fist Gregor is like a Gregor that avenges that one boss lady that became a blood bag that killed the other Fire Fist dudes.
Yeah.
Gregor is like the ultimate version of the Fire Fist office that goes on a single-handed rampage to destroy La Mancha land.
Do you think that's this Gregor? Like,
no, it's a different Mirror World, but it's probably a non-Gregor version of that character who's badass. Big sis, rest easy now.
My man.
I'll get you that proper office building you'd always dreamed of. But my family never survived this dream. Just as they failed to in the waking world. 131 rounds of expeditions. 79 attempts at arson, 21 attempts at hosing us down, 3 volleys of trebuchet strikes, 17 total counts of sniper shots and assassination attempts, and 10 all-out battles.
Fucking Merceau.
671 kindreds killed, 3,449 blood bags burned. Visions of this dream are as precise as the clarity of my memory. I recall them with the same vividness of that day, recalling the varied ways in which they were killed and the accompanying cries that became their last words. And I do nothing but witness it all from the parade's vanguard. For the first time, the parade comes to a stop, and my vantage point presents me with a vision of massacre inflamed by mania, which is reminiscent of the crowd of humans who once cheered happily at our parade. So, standing still like a stone, I observe them. Marceau, listen to me.
Mammon.
The dream is nearing its end. At this moment, with mere minutes separating this dream and the waking world, Maman always grabs me by my shoulders and calls me my name. But I do not answer her. Because there is no Marceau in the procession, and that is the rule as written. As that is the rule as written, I follow it. In moments like this, I begin to wonder how I understood so little of my own child. O noble prince.
Have you aught to say, princess?
We now stand upon the last vestiges of our kingdom. Those who are green with envy have looted and plundered our land bare. You are the first prince. Its fate now lies solely in your hands. Thus...
Are you suggesting that I flee, princess?
What other recourse have I to suggest?
A royal prince must rightly stand his ground no matter what is to come. He shall fight to the bitter end.
I see. If that is your rule, then I suppose no words, regardless of its speaker, would sway you from here. Allow me to rephrase that, noble prince. You are aware of the rule that this march must never stop, correct?
Indeed, for this is the endlessly, eternally blessed carnival.
My prince, you are the vanguard of the procession. Should you stop, you will reave it of its eternity. Thus, I implore you to march on, dear prince. March over the ruins of this kingdom and go forward. Found a new kingdom, reborn and rewritten by your hands.
You mean?
Become king, my prince.
If that is your will, princess, the fairest and wisest of the kingdom, then... That was the new rule bestowed upon me. When the request behind a rule is reasonable, I carry it out. No more, no less.
Live.
I turn away from the lingering whisper of Maman's last words. I feel the pressure of the blood fiend hierarchy, the very essence of which has infused my blood, intensify a degree higher.
I only follow the rules if they're reasonable. Hey, Marceau, could you, put your head in this, big old time thing so I could steal trillions of hours of time from you? Yes.
The principle is reasonable.
O third kindred now.
Then I wake.
So, actually, that was interesting. He was fourth kindred,
Yep,
and then now he's third kindred. Like some kind of... It's not diablerie, because he's not, consuming the higher kindreds, but it's like their death and wishes granted upon him infuse him with the higher kindred. It's like the weight falls upon him as the one left, willingly taken on the mantle of the family. It's interesting.
The hard blood thing is pretty rad, though.
I love the hard blood.
Report.
We have marched to the halfway point of the economy class section as per your majesty's command. The procession's end is near, and so is the time for your majesty to join it at its rear.
As Maman had commanded me, I fled La Mancha land to build my own kingdom. How many new blood bags have we gained?
A total of 6 today and not one more. I have relayed that no more than that is to be made, as per your majesty's decree. And, as the time for you to create a new kindred is nigh, I have set aside a few prospective passengers who may receive that honor.
Well done. I commend your efforts.
Anything for the kingdom and the family's prosperity.
It was rather convenient how the rules perfectly dovetailed with instinct. The moment Maman ceased to be, my very instincts alerted my ascension in the hierarchy. And with it, a sudden pressure sliced through me. The inescapable responsibility to propagate the family, as I had no children of my own.
I love long hair, man.
Indeed, I required a place where propagation of the family was guaranteed, a furtive place that could hide our growth from foreign forces. Making it a most reasonable decision to hide myself within the warp train escape to P-Corp. Escape P-Corp. No other place has so perfectly met the needs of my purpose, and none shall ever again.
Please don't kill me! Ah!
Please don't kill me! Oh!
The squire leads me to a room with a passenger, who is terrified out of his mind. Terrified as he may be, and despite the considerable amount of time that this train must have spent in stasis, there is a spark of life within him, desperately clawing to prolong its existence. And that makes him a prime candidate to join my family. You need not be afraid. For I, too, was once human. However, considering the city's standards of what constitutes a human and what does not, I still belong in the former category. Therefore, upon adjusting the distinction to before Bloodfiend characteristics became apparent, and after...
Can you imagine, like, you are scared for your life, and the guy who you think is gonna kill you just starts going on a monologue about...
Just starts rambling about the specifics and the specificity of the language he's using.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, oh,
My soul, please!
oh.
huh?
But to me, the human existence and the princely existence were indistinguishable from one another. Thus, the same shall be true to thee.
Wait, what does that even mean? That doesn't make any sense.
I do not wait for him to finish his reply and sink my teeth into his jugular. Warm blood spreads to every corner of my body. Some may say that subjects of the king deserve to be heard, but that would be inefficient. I was given but 2 rules. 1, the march must never end. 2, I must raise my kingdom. And no more.
Bite me.
You know, I have a feeling Marcel's gonna do a really good job, and that's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't think Marcel in positions of authority tend to be his strongest IDs, actually.
Yeah.
If you look at his ID catalog, Thumb Capo, Prince of La Mancha Land, those where he's in a position of authority, he's like
Really, boss is pretty strong.
really good. I mean, Dead Rabbit's boss, he's just competent. He was a competent leader of the organization. The middle little brother, he's fine, but like anytime he's actually given leadership, he pops off.
What do you think? What's better for my Rupture team?
For definitely,
I'd want to say
probably just the basic Heisho. This one seems like more of a hybrid. This one I call it's a mirror dungeon merchant, which means it has both the poise and rupture keywords, so you can use both kinds of ego gifts on your mirror dungeon team. So with Honglu and with Faust and with Shichun and with that Ryoshu, you have 4 people who have rupture and poise. So then you can grab 1 more rupture, 1 more poise, and you can use both tier 4 ego gifts for poise and rupture using that set of Mirror Dungeon Merchant. They exist to sell you the tier 4 ego gifts. At least in my opinion. There's probably some actual utility to using them in normal encounters, but I haven't looked that deeply into the kit. I know they have assist attacks, and they do one-sided attacks, and that's cool, but yeah.
I like the whole she gets to do the retaliation attack or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Big sis.
That's actually the coolest Gregor. I stand by.
I'd probably agree. These Gregors aren't really cool. Maybe
I really fuck with
maybe
Priest.
Capitano.
Capitano is interesting. He's like competent, but also so fucked by the circumstances. Priest is my personal favorite, just because I really like the Blood Fiends.
Which
Do we want to go into a different idea up stories, or do we want to move on
are
to?
there any idea up stories that we haven't done?
We've done Ishmael. We've done the Sword Sharpened with Tears, I think, right?
I'm pretty sure we have.
That's a pretty good one, I think. I'm pretty sure we have, though.
Pretty sure we have.
Have we done Yo Sinclair? I don't know if we have, but I don't know if I care enough. It's not that interesting. He's a crazy chicken that fights hard.
Did we? And you have
I don't
Heathcliff.
I know we did the one who shall grip.
I know we did Heathcliff.
We didn't do Lobotomy Ego Red Sheet, but also I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I think we're good on Sinclair. Otis. I think we've done... Yeah, we did all those.
We've done all of these, is what I have.
That are up to 3. Yep, good on Gregor. We have done all of Yisong, yep.
Do we do Phil Bullet?
Yes, he's like
Okay.
fucking... He shoots his allies, and the ego's like corroding his mindset and shit, and he acknowledges that, but also can't really stop it either. So he's like, I started, initially I felt bad when I had to shoot my allies via the compulsion of the ego, but now I don't really care anymore.
Did these ones.
Yes, we did those.
I'm almost sure we did Contempt.
Yes. I don't know if we did LCCP Assistant Manager. That's a fun enough one.
We didn't do that one because I leveled up just for the passive.
Right. It's a somewhat fun one. It's fairly short, so we can look at that one after if there's no others. But I think
We didn't do Rhino.
we didn't do Rhino. We could do Rhino as well.
Oh.
We definitely did Lord of Hongyun. I don't care about the Liu, and Ting Ting Gang Leader is that interesting either. So we can do Rhino and the other one, or we can do Walpurgis. What are you feeling? I think maybe some gameplay. I think we maybe do Walpurgis just to get some gameplay.
Alright, let's get to reading. Oh. Gonna go back to the dungeon. Back to the dungeon.
Back to the pit.
That's fine.
숙명을 걸맞는 곳이어야 할
I need a Mersoul fucking Aisha so he fucking matches.
No.
Bye.
좀 채울까?
And it hurts me that Mersoul doesn't match.
It is perhaps unfortunate. Fuck. Forgot I have to voice this. Okay, hold on. Let me lock it. I gotta drink some water. I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, alright, so I was Dante, obviously. I was Mersoul.
You were Dante, Mersoul, Sinclair,
Yeah.
Ishmael,
Yeah.
and Gregor. I think I was most of the others.
I think you're most of the others.
This seems like a good place to end it, Dante.
'Cause I'm bad at voice acting. Alright. I do consultations with the sinners when there's a need to do so, but I also invite them for regular consultations as well, regardless of the necessity. Whenever I see that first one, and
The
it's
small
a
text is
significantly
like,
smaller
"Oh,
font,
no."
is like, oh no. Our conversations were usually pretty inane and somewhat perfunctory to the point where I feel like I'm just going down a list of things to say, asking obvious questions like, how are you doing? I have any difficult emotions, or other queries of similar nature. Which means that most of our consultations end up being idle chatter, but... Well, so we're good here, right?
Faust believes so, yes. Your continual growth has been observed through the repeated consultations, and no changes for the worse or problems with your tenure as the manager have been found.
Us. That's good. Faust was always the last sinner on my consultation list, and whenever I finished consulting her, she would have me participate in her consultation in return. These are rather valuable opportunities for me, given that they're pretty much the only times I ever get to voice my concerns about hesitation. Not to mention that there are also chances to try to brainstorm how we go about resolving them.
It is. Do you have any further questions?
As I was listening to Faust, sitting across from her and cleaning up the documents laid out on my desk, my calendar came into view. Oh yeah, it's happening pretty soon, isn't it?
By it, you are referring to...
Well, Purgus night. I feel like it's about time to happen again. I sense a content drop coming.
Vibes-based content update.
Vibes. It's been happening pretty frequently as of late, to the point where they're occurring once every few days. I don't know how rare this event really is, but I'm trying to develop some sort of intuition as to how often it comes.
It seems you have found yourself a pattern of sorts, Dante.
Indeed.
However, the basis by which the Walpurgis Nights occur is pure chance. There are no rules that dictate their frequency.
Huh? Really? But I just have this feeling, an intuition, that's about to happen. You know?
Faust has come to an understanding that your feelings, Dante, may sometimes yield exceptional results that elude any sort of logical or sensible explanations.
Little Faust smile.
However, to find patterns in which there are none is...
Lots of Faust smile. Faust had just begun her explanation of a barely noticeable grin when she was prematurely cut off by the all-too-familiar alarm and the accompanying light show of green flashes. You were saying, Faust?
It is always a pleasant surprise to encounter such uncertainties.
You don't look pleased at all, though.
Let us head to the driver's seat.
And with that, she hurriedly stormed out of my room. Sometime later. Fuck.
Yeah, you were also Roja.
I was Roja. Fuck. This is one weird place, huh? Are we in some kind of prison? Air smells dank. I think we might be underground. I was wondering if we get to visit the Elcorp headquarters again. I'm pretty sure that's where we'll be going on our next Walpurgis night. What?
They alternate. It's I ruin a book and then an Elcorp thing. It's a pattern.
Huh?
Yeah.
How do you know that? Doesn't it seem like they're taking turns up here? About to tell me that this time we're inside a book of library. Yeah, I think. Yeah, any thoughts, Faust?
As I have stated earlier, the basis by which the Walpurgis Nights occur is pure...
What are you blathering about? Quit going off on tangents and answer the question straight, yeah?
I was Otis.
I saddled you with all the women, huh?
Except Faust.
Except
And Ryoshu.
Faust.
And Ryoshu.
And Ryoshu.
And I only have, like, one woman voice, and it just, like, slightly...
I've got two, okay? I've got two, and I have to... Look, and that's why I took two, alright? I know my limits. I know my limits.
Always for the sake of efficiency, immediately and succinctly explicate your point and when replying to your superior's questions. Understood? The big words, Otis! You never talk that big!
Indeed, this event seems to have taken place at a period of time when the library existed.
Man, I'm going through this, and I'm like... And just in the back of my mind, there's a large portion of the population that would not be able to play this game.
Because it requires reading.
It requires reading.
Well, a lot of fans of this game are illiterate, you know. Project Moon fans can't read.
However, it does not seem to be the case that we will be facing abnormalities here, as we had done so in the past.
Huh? Then what?
Wait! Shh! Voices. They're close. With everyone hushed, I could hear voices muttering from a distant hallway.
Ooh. It seems that this place is a place of congregation for an emergent religious group once known as the Church of Gears.
The Church of Gears? So, do they worship literal gears, or is it more symbolic, like they're worshipping the sacred values of labor or something?
Excuse me.
Faust gazed into the distance, blinked a few times, and continued as though she realized something.
Not exactly. They consider themselves to be, as denizens of the city, nothing more than gears.
She's getting less subtle about accessing the fucking Discord chat.
It's true.
Before, like, she made an effort to, like, do it away from the rest of the group or something.
Their belief is that their misfortunes stem from the fact that their current lot in life has placed them where they do not belong. Such was Faust's input.
Is she getting all this from the gesture shaft she mentioned before? They don't seem too off the mark then. Many people in the city have jobs they're not fit for.
However, do understand that the laity of this religion, dubbed meat gears, install the objects of worship known as thought gears, gears made from humans, into their own brains, and...
Okay, point taken. You can stop now. Yeah, what was I even thinking? Of course, there's just a bunch of crazies. Radia brought her hand to her mouth, as though she was about to vomit, then shook her head dismissively.
Anyways, so what are we supposed to be doing here?
He's Australian now, too.
Then we kill him.
It is uncertain where the end of this scenario lies. However, as your proposed course of action has often led us to solutions, it likely will not be much different this time.
I started as Yusong, and then you took over when we got to section that was only characters I voiced.
Yes. Please, a moment. What is this scenario that you have mentioned in passing?
Yeah, I got that too.
It is only a hypothesis of sorts at the moment. However, please recall that the past manifestations of a phenomenon in which we, once the goal determined by the scenario was deemed complete, were immediately returned to the bus's corridors. And given that the beginning and the resolution are always identical, as though the scenario is resetting from cycle to cycle, it can be surmised that we are repeating the same scenario. There are other rooms in the back door with similar attributes. Given that they also consist of rooms that repeat certain scenarios until a certain objective is completed, it can be said that the prospect of this hypothesis turning out to be correct is not entirely out of the realm of possibility when it comes to technological limitations. In recollecting, as you say, I find that there were instances in which we invariably made to reach in the same... What the fuck, Yisong? Oh my god. These two back to back? My tongue, bro, it's twisting. In recollecting, as you say, I find that there were instances in which we were invariably made to reach the same conclusion, regardless of the specifics of our methodologies in battle. Ah, verily! Hast thou not said before, young Faust, that our actions, taken within the bounds of the realities manifested by the powers of Walpurgi Snout, were indeed events of the past, yet manipulated not the history of the world wherein we do exist?
I was looking at my cat, and there you... Walpurgi is not... I was like...
Look, I'm just reading it as written.
Yeah, but I didn't say I was looking at my cat. And then
Reminder, this is Sancho taking on the mantle of Don Quixote.
yeah.
That's how you know she just has fun with this shit now.
Dedicated to the fucking...
She enjoys it.
Correct. That is another evidence for the hypothesis that these are but scenarios.
So even if we were to kill those worshippers, they're not actually dying, right? Man, Sinclair, you chose an odd job if you don't like killing people.
He didn't choose it much, though.
Still carrying that soft heart, aren't you? But it just doesn't seem right. Attacking someone who can speak just like we do without really getting to know what's going on seems... you know...
The intent behind your question is understood. Yes, you are correct.
Ew.
Testing, do you copy?
And an unfamiliar voice suddenly whispered into our ears. Is it? The heck? Since when did we have these things in our ears? That's when I realized the sinners were all equipped with something resembling transmitters in their ears. How did you not, like, feel that?
What the
shit are you guys? It's me, Stefan! Wake up! We gave you a subcontract because you were supposedly much better at blitzes like these. We even made quite the fuss when we were handing it over to you, remember?
No.
Come on, let's just do our jobs and go home, okay? Or is this another tantrum about how we're taking 60% of the reward? I see. This appears to be our role in this scenario. We all know that the Church of Gears is one nutjob factory, but don't let the ickiness get in the way of the mission. Got that? We got this straight from Director Eugen of the Shi Association Section 2. You have to capture their leader alive. If you screw this job up, we can also get back to that payday we've been looking forward to. So I'm leaving it to you, okay?
Hey, what does this leader look like?
Holy shit, are you insane? You didn't even read the documents we sent you before going in there?
Somewhere in the distance, Virgilius looks up.
Okay, I guess they did infiltrate the base without even reading the intel. Maybe they're veterans who are just that good.
You guys did... How'd you get... I guess they did do it. Whatever.
Fuck it, we ball. Fuck it, we ball. Fuck it, we ball.
I won't deny the title of veteran. Fuck you, Otis.
Okay, well, you'll know the moment you lay eyes on their leader. Veiled face, huge gears in the head, all that.
My brain had like the ranking of the fucking sinners, and Otis went down a tier. We're still at the top, but
of course.
and appears to be an appropriate amount of intelligence to identify this target. Great, then let's do this.
It's ass kicking time.
That'd still be a really funny thing to do, except for the fact that it'd be really, really hard to set up and like keep track of, just having the on-screen like ranking of the sinners. Everyone who would come in would get really mad.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I mean, no matter what, unless I had their view, they'd be mad at it.
I mean, some people are pretty reasonable about the sinner rankings. There's just there are certain children you can't have too low, right? You can't have Don Quixote too low. You can't have Heathcliff too low. Hating Sinclair is pretty accepted. Not liking Ryoshu is pretty accepted.
So Merceau would be at the top.
Otis is an acceptable target of disdain.
Yeah, Merceau would be at the top. Otis would be the bottom.
Honestly, I think as long as Heathcliff and Don Quixote and Ishmael are decently up there, people don't make a stink. But
Yeah,
those are the ones people have their strongest opinions on.
I'd have Merceau at the top. I have Otis at the bottom. Maybe she'll be better when she gets like her Kanto, but I
think we got a little bit of interesting characterization for her during the Kanto 7 dungeon, where she was like, no matter what kind of horrific shit's in our past, you're really gonna forgive us, huh, Dante? And Dante's like, I see that you are projecting, and I acknowledge that.
Yep. John would be... Faust would be probably right after Merceau, and then Dawn.
Oh, you're a big Faust fan, huh?
I like Faust. I think she's fun.
Interesting.
And like especially when we had the intervallo where she lost access to the Gesture Shop,
And she became a character finally?
Did she get a character, right? Yeah. Like, that was a very interesting progression for her. I have to like have a list of them. I'd have Ryoshu and Sinclair together because without the other, they're terrible.
The fucking impact frame, dude. That was sick.
I'd have Ryoshu and Sinclair together because without the other, they neither of them works without the other. Heathcliff is probably like dead in the middle. Hanlu would be above Heathcliff, and Yi Song would be between Hanlu and Heathcliff.
Yeah, I mean, my ranking would be pretty top heavy. I do like most of the sinners quite a lot. I think they're fairly well written as characters, and so
fucking you have the like S, A, B, C, D, and S, just all of them.
No, my S's are probably who are my S's?
Pretty unsettling, but I didn't give us too much of them, huh? Yeah, my weapon kept slipping out of my hand because I had to stop myself from throwing up. Brains and all that blood and chunks of flesh and over the gears. Turned and crushed the...
It is ill-advised to mouth what imparts you nothing but displeasure, Sinclair.
As the sinners, who all appeared rather exhausted from certain non-fatigue related issues, I saw a shuddering figure. That one must be the leader of this church. Otis, remember, this is a capture mission. Of course, Executive Manager. I know an exceptional technique by which I can 100% ensure the survival of the subject, possible defenses, wounds notwithstanding. Remember, Otis, alive! The monkey's paw curls!
You did not say unharmed.
It is shocking how much you can survive.
As long as you're careful.
Please, leave us alone! Stay away!
Just as Otis had begun approaching the leader, her face contorting into a terrifying expression.
Oh, wow. 13 of you,
Hmm.
Why, those friends must have spent quite a fortune hiring you all.
Yeah. Eh. The blue!
The blue reverberation.
There was a flash of light, and in the blink of an eye, someone had kicked Otis to the side and embraced the leader in their arms.
Ah, could you be the person my father... Oh, no. Ah, could you be the person my father always talked about? I guess. Fie! I cannot well see whom this figure is. Yet, such power has to be...
I prefer to imagine that, like, for, like, you know, there's just the parts where, like, Don Quixote, like, drops back into Sancho.
There are.
Sorry, friends. I do appreciate your welcome, but... I'm going to have to leave with this friend over here instead. Make way for us, will you?
Absolutely not! Otis aggressively strides toward the shadowy intruder. The details were fuzzy and shadowed, but I was pretty sure that this figure was holding a massive scythe.
What a grand welcome. Wow, I'm about to shed a tear. Well, then...
The intruder begins to raise his scythe, his voice untainted by even a tinge of battling sadly. Eh! We found ourselves back at the corridors.
It seems that this is where this scenario ends.
Damn it! What indignity!
Nay, young Otis, 'tis not to be humiliated of. While I am not entirely confident of this speculation, for I was availed naught else save for the silhouette, that strength, that composure...
I find it hard to, like... He was so strong, it's like, shut up, fucking Sancho.
Forsooth, the silhouette of this foe, I had borne witness to this magnificence in the past in the magazines. Thou hast almost engaged in a duel with a color fixer.
Having your memories clearly hasn't diminished your love of fixers one bit,
Silence! It's irrelevant. Anyhow, young Faust, thou hast said in such past that a repeated visit would be to a benefit as long as this night is in effect. Forsooth? Forsooth? Indeed. Well, should I be granted the chance to behold the countenance of this figure, it should be of no trouble for I to determine which of the illustrious color fixers this one is with greater certainty. May I, perchance, be granted the opportunity to approach this figure in young Otis's stead? There's no reason to deny that request, though I'm of the belief that the identity of this individual will not be revealed regardless of the choices we make in this scenario.
Hey! Who are you? Your mic cut out. Just, what?
This is why I have to do, like, the restrained, boring screams. Woohoo!
Don Quixote is just as passionate as ever, huh? But Faust's expression maintained its stony coldness, highlighting the contrast. It seems like she was deep in contemplation. I sought to ask, is something on your mind, Faust?
If the scenario hypothesis is correct, perhaps the conclusion we have just seen may be a hint of sorts.
I think part of the reason I like Faust so much is because we are with her 99% of the fucking story.
She's very second in command energy-ish to... She also is not... She's super important. Like, further beyond most of the sinners, especially because she seems to be the one that recruited most of the LCB.
Yep.
Because we saw in Kanto 4, she was the one who recruited Yi Sang, sinner number 1. And if we're assuming the sinner numbers are the order in which they're recruited, she recruited Yi Sang and then joined the bus as number 2. And then Virgilius found Don Quixote, and then they went on from there. So, I think Faust is, like, the driving impetus behind the project of the LCB.
Probably certainly.
Not Limbus Company itself, but the LCB department specifically. I think this is her brainchild as a whole endeavor.
Almost, because even Virgilius is
Different to her.
is semi-deferential to her.
Yeah.
Which would
is
only
fascinating.
make sense if, you know, she has quite the sway over
Perhaps the overt contrivance of this conclusion implies a tacit threat or a warning posed against us that the tale may be forced to continue regardless of our own actions. There may be an incident in the future in which LCB's journey comes to an untimely halt due to our failure to find the conclusion in a Walpurgis Night event. It appears the access to that information is still locked.
I'm having some trouble following your train of thought.
It is all right. When the time comes, Dante, it may be the case that your intuition will bring proof to these hypotheses.
Ooh.
As it has today.
Yeah.
However, it seems that verifying Don Quixote's hypothesis takes precedence for the moment. Manager Esquire, prithee, move with haste! Now! Haste, I say!
Can we have a second before we... Watching Don Quixote's enthusiasm, I decided to table the more complicated thoughts for later, like I always do. I'm sure that won't ever come back to bite him in the ass. Faust is right. It might do us well for me to have some more faith in my own intuitions for now.
또 한 줄 길을 남겼군. 빗물진 길일 뿐이지만.
Okay, I am like super tired. Are you cool with ending it now?
이 홍로가
Yeah.
Alright.
I'd be good to continue, but if you're done, you're done. It is what it is.
Yeah, I'm just work and everything else, and I've been getting like sub 5 hours of sleep every night.
Oh yeah, you should just go to bed.
Yeah, that was the plan. Alright, so with all that done, I'd like to thank you for coming, thank you for coming, and hopefully we will see you for next one. Have a good one. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.